I think about my buddy, Chris Strandberg. He was on The Bachelorette with me. This is a crazy story. So one night out on Demumbrian Street, he came up to me. This is before we were on the show. This is like 8 or 10 months before filming. He walked up to me in a bar and he had his phone out. He goes, "This is you right here." And it was a guy. It was a side profile. And it was a guy with a beard and a part on the side of his head. And the meme said, "Watch out for this guy because this guy will steal your girl." He showed me that and he looks at me, he goes, "Don't steal my girl." Fast forward 10 months later.
You stole his girl.
We were in the mansion of the Bachelorette and he comes up to me after, as I'll never forget this. As soon as I walked to the door, he comes up to me, he goes, "Do you remember me?" I was like, "No." He goes, "You remember I came up to you at that bar?" And he's like, "I showed you that meme." I was like, "Oh my God, you did." He ends up kissing Caitlin first, and then Caitlin ended up giving me the rose on the first night. We were walking back through the hotel, and I go, "Stole your girl." Welcome back to In the Booth. I'm Sean Booth, and today we got two of us. It is she. It is Samcat lady in the building, riding shotgun next to me. For those of you not watching on YouTube, to break it down for you, Samcat has on a bright bubblegum pink shirt, some black pants, and some Converse. That's what she's wearing. Welcome to the show, Samcat.
What was that? Why did you just break down what I'm wearing?
I don't know. I kind of liked it, though. I want to give the people at home a visual.
Okay.
Riding in their cars.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think there's something to be said that the video aspect does add an extra layer to it. So thank you for being the eyes for those that are listening.
You're welcome. And we're coming off of a July 4th weekend. I didn't do much. What about you, Samcat?
I did not do much either, unfortunately. I mean, I did a lot of outdoor laying and like blow up pools, and I ate probably 6 hot dogs in the last 2 days.
Nice. There we go.
High five.
Did you watch a hot dog eating contest? 63. Was it 63 or 67 dogs, Andrew?
No idea.
Okay. No idea.
Do they still do that?
They still do it. I thought it was canceled, but then it was uncanceled. And I'm pretty sure Joey Chestnut won again at 60 something dogs.
How many hot dogs do you think Joey Chestnut has had in his lifetime?
Man, I don't know if that's like a once a year deal where he preps with other food. I've seen a show before. They prep with other foods to expand their stomach as much as possible. So I'd imagine after those dogs, he's probably like, I'm good for another 365 days.
How many dogs do you think you can eat in one sitting, Sean?
I've tried this. Me and my buddy did it. I could probably do in 10 minutes. I think I could put down 12 hot dogs.
12?
Yeah.
He ate 62.
62.
It seems kind of stupid that he just I don't understand how this guy has won
Every year for like 15 years.
16 years in a row he's won. How is no one able to beat him?
Kobayashi.
Because nobody wants to beat him. Who the hell wants to be the hot dog eating? Like, let's think about the logistics here. What do they even win money?
Yeah, of course. But he is like Captain America. That guy is America, Joey Chestnut. And what I want to know is it a skill that you can take into your 50s and 60s? Like, is he going to be just wrecking this contest for the rest of his life? Or at some point, do you kind of age out of it like a basketball player?
Yeah, I have no idea. I saw a video of him on the internet where he was like, "It's my cheat day, so I'm going to eat X amount of Big Macs." And like the fact that I didn't realize that he had cheat days. I thought his life was
a cheat day. Yeah. And isn't it true that he'll smell like hot dogs for the next few days because it's like seeping through his pores?
You know, when I mentioned eating six hot dogs in the last 48 hours, I didn't realize we were going to dive this deep into like hot dog
we are
land.
deep.
But I apologize to everybody.
Do we think that Joey Chestnut is married?
Ooh, that's what I was wondering this as well. Does he get ladies and girls throwing themselves at him because he is the hot dog eating champ of the world? Or like, that turns me on. Let me get some of that hot dog.
Listen, every pot has a lid, and I'm sure someone finds that attractive.
Yeah.
I am not sure that I fall in that category, nor do I know anyone that would, but you do you, baby.
So you want to be attracted to him? No. Who would you be attracted to, Samcat? Because yesterday you were leaving BC Gym, and I don't know what prompted you to say this, but you were just like, you know what? F it. I'm done trying to find a good guy and relationship. I'm just going to marry somebody rich. You went there. You're there. That's where you're at in your life. Let's break that down.
You know,
what kind of problems you got going on over there?
Okay, first I'm going to defend myself. I wasn't really serious. Okay. I mean, I was a little bit, there's some truth to it, but I hate the negative mindset of girls just being like, oh, screw guys. I'm never doing, they're all the same. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I hate that narrative because I think what you repeatedly say to yourself and what you say out loud does in some form manifest itself. So I do try and be mindful of the way I approach dating in general, because I feel like there's so many layers to this. I don't even know where to start. I just feel like I've been down on my luck, and I was trying. You know, I kind of go through phases where I'm like, I'm busy with work, or I'm tired, or whatever it is. And I'm just like, you know what? If he breaks through my window like the Kool-Aid man and he's like, oh yeah, then I'm like, hey, how's it going? That's probably never going to happen. So then I will go through phases where I put a little more effort in to like put myself out there and to meet someone specifically for dating. Because here's the thing. I have enough friends. Do you know how many guy friends I have? A lot. And that's not to say that I don't have girlfriends. Hooked up with any of them? No. I was going to say, I also hate when girls are like, oh, guys are just easier. And it's like, no, Jessica, you're easy. They are not easier. You got to like set boundaries. However, with all that being said, I have a lot of guy friends, but I do have a lot of girlfriends too.
That's a red flag right there for me, if you're asking.
I'm a red flag.
Anybody asking if you have a ton of guy friends?
But I also have a ton of girlfriends. It's not just like I only hang out with guys.
Yeah. Are you like, all right, I'm just going to go to dinner with Jonathan tonight if you had a boyfriend?
No. Okay. Because I also
That's
believe—
a big topic or debate.
Yes, I completely agree. But I do think that there's also a difference in when I'm with someone versus when I'm single of how much I interact with my guy friends.
Right. That makes sense.
Yes. But that doesn't change the fact that they're my friend. Maybe our interactions will change, but it doesn't change the fact that I have that friendship with them.
Okay.
The thing about me is that I'm a big boundaries gal. I have plenty of guy friends that I've never even so much as intimately fist bumped because I've just always set that precedent. That
Can you tell though? You're like, ooh, he's trying to be a little more than a friend.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel
a couple
like
shots. You're at the bar. You're at Honky Tonk Central.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because I feel like my friends and the people who I like confide in about my dating situations give me a hard time of the fact that like I'm very hard to read. Right. I've been told that many times.
Right.
So I kind of shoot myself in the foot, which I am aware of, which leads me back to the I've been trying thing that I was saying. Like, I've been trying to be more vulnerable. It's very hard for me to be vulnerable. I tried to like kind of make it more well known that I was into someone because I've been told that I kind of like, you ever see that meme that's just like, oh, if I'm being really cool with you, I don't like you. But if I'm awkward and stuttering, that means I like you. I feel like that is me.
Okay.
If I'm shooting the shit with you and it's just like super chill, I probably don't like you.
Okay. We're taking notes because we were going to find a relationship expert for today. And we're like, you know what? How about we be the relationship experts? Two people who are historically pretty terrible at relationships.
The blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind. You know who's really good at relationships?
No one.
Our man Andrew right there behind the desk.
Been happily had like the ball and chain for what, half your life now?
I've been married for 3 years. Yeah.
But you've been dating her for a decade.
Yeah.
And you were only 26 years old, which means that is essentially half your life.
16 years old.
It's been 9 years. So we started dating when I was like 17 or 18. She was 16.
You guys are a country song.
I know.
You are.
I do love that. Anyways, I got distracted. But yeah, I think it's hysterical that you brought up this topic to me and said, do you want to talk on this? I'm like, yeah, I'm an open book, but I would never claim to know. I feel like if I knew, wouldn't I be with someone?
If you knew it, you would have done it, is what you say.
And I hate when people are like, oh my God, why are you single? And I'm like, dude, if I knew, I probably wouldn't be.
Something I hear from a lot of females in this city.
This is a hard city.
It's a hard city to date.
It is. It's Neverland. Everybody moves here to not grow up. They move here to chase their dreams.
That's true.
And Jessica from Tin Roof. You know what I'm saying?
Jessica from Tin. What do you have against Jessica? There's been a Jessica who has hurt you pretty bad in the past.
No, did I say it twice?
You said Jessica twice this episode.
Right, maybe it's a Freudian.
And we're only about 10 minutes in here.
Yeah. Anyways, we got way off track from when I was leaving the gym and I said that I had given up.
Yeah, you said you just wanted to find a rich guy and sit on a catamaran the rest of your life, and that was it.
Yes, but it was like kind of a joke. I hate, again, when I was saying like, oh, I'm done with men. I also hate when women are like, well, is he rich? Like, who the fuck cares if he's rich? You know what I care about? He has like financial literacy. If you make $50,000 a year, lit, but don't be driving a $100,000 car.
Right.
Like, that's the shit that I can't stand.
Is that a top 5 turn on, turn off for you? What do
yeah.
you look for in a man, Samcat? Here we go.
Superficially or like actually?
You got 5 attributes that you need from a guy. What are they?
Can I check my notes app?
You have that in your notes app? I'm not surprised because you literally have every wedding you've ever been to, thinking that somebody one day is going to be like, hey, Sammy, I was curious, how many weddings have you been to?
No, sorry. Are we in the middle of a podcast and you're asking me what I look for in a man? I'm like, you know what? I do have these, but I also have them to refer back to.
What else do you have on there? Do you write down like?
I have everything.
Okay.
I have goals, memories. Let's see.
5 attributes.
All right. Well, I think. Okay. I'm not going superficial. I'm going just like things that I'm attracted to in a human being.
I don't think you have to call it superficial because like physical attributes is a important thing. Is that what you were saying is superficial?
Yeah. Okay. I was saying, I mean, I have, unfortunately for me, I'm like innately attracted to men that look like JJ Watt, but they don't really exist a lot. And so like a big like offensive lineman man, like the bigger the better. I like a thick boy, 3 C's.
Hey, I'm with you on that. But not the boys. I like the thick girls. Yeah. We are a thick, positive podcast here.
Hell yeah. But that doesn't really exist a lot. So, you know, like I got to be kind of more realistic about that. Anyways, but I think that the first thing I notice about someone is their smile.
Okay.
And so I feel like if I were going to talk about physical attributes, that would be like the number one. I like a guy that's bigger than me and a great smile. And then like everything else is not physical.
How big we talking? What is a cutoff that you have? Talking superficially here. If you see a man, he's like, I'm 5'11".
No, that's fine.
As long as he's taller than you?
See, my thing isn't even so much length as it is girth. I don't need a man to be that tall.
So now we're talking.
No, I don't know. I don't need a man to be that tall, but like I am like a big girl. So I feel like I'm
want
never
to feel little.
Yeah.
You want to feel like he can just pick you up and cuddle you and throw you around.
Like if I run across the room and jump into your arms and you have to go to the hospital, we're probably not going to make it. And so I think that, and that is also not a knock on them. That's an insecurity that I have.
Right.
Like I would rather, like I don't want to feel that way. Some women love a short king and good for them. But I feel like I don't know that I really focus on the height so much as I focus on like the whole package.
Where do we think that comes from?
I don't know, but I feel like I'm talking with my hands a lot.
Yeah.
Where do I think it comes from?
Yeah.
I think it comes from my size. Like I feel like it comes from like an insecurity of mine. And I don't want to say insecurity like I hide from it, but it's just like you know, not to bring up Jessica from the Tin Roof, but like I don't look like the other girls in Nashville. And I know that, but those little girls take all the big guys. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey, little girls, stop taking all the big guys.
Get in line, honey. But I don't know where that comes from. I feel like that's a question for my therapist.
Okay. So that's one attribute. It's got to look like JJ Watt. What are the other 4?
That makes me sound terrible. I feel like I haven't painted myself in a good light in this podcast so far, but that's okay because we're being open and honest.
Open and honest. That's the name of the show, right?
Yeah. When are you going to be open and honest?
I'm always open and honest.
Okay, that's a lie. Number 4 would be not lying. I'm just kidding. I feel like the next thing I look at someone is probably going to be just how they view like their future and their connection with their family. Like, where did they come from? What are they looking for? How do they want to build their life?
Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot of.
No, I feel like it's like goals.
Like priorities.
Yeah, priorities and goals.
Priorities in life.
Yeah, just like.
Are they motivated? Let's do motivation in life. Life motivation.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll take.
They're not just sitting in life and kind of taking it day by day. They know what they want.
Yeah.
They know where they're headed.
And I don't know that they even need to know where they're headed. They need to have like an idea or like an aspiration to do so. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need someone who's got it all figured out. I don't have it figured out.
Nobody's got it figured out.
Exactly. And I feel like, but to go back to the women that want guys with money and this and that, and he's too short and all of those things, I'm like, that to me seems like something that's so unimportant. If you're like focusing on the wrong thing there.
Right.
Okay. Does he have goals? Sure. Okay. So I want a teammate. I want to build off your goals and I want to be a teammate with you for the rest of our life.
Preferably an offensive lineman teammate.
I mean, yeah, if he's available.
Number 3.
I didn't realize we were doing a final four. You're really putting me on
This
the
is a 5.
spot
Yeah.
here. I feel like loyalty is the one thing that I really do not budge on. I feel
Mhm.
like everybody has a different threshold when it comes to dating, and some people can tolerate it. And maybe infidelity isn't something that's a make or break for you, but it is a break for me.
100%.
And I don't know why, but I just feel like I can kind of get through anything except for that. I do think there is a line that if you say you're going to forgive someone and they come back into your life, but you didn't truly forgive them, that it's unfair to the person who ultimately cheated.
Absolutely.
And I think it's like your responsibility to know that, to navigate it. Maybe you don't know it right off the bat, but I just know that about my personality. Like I would never let it go.
Yeah, you're grudge cat. I'm the biggest grudge holder too. I can't.
You are a
let
big
go.
grudge cat.
Yeah.
I get it though. I'm the same way. I feel like I don't know that there's anything more disrespectful than infidelity.
Right.
Truly.
I agree.
I think that there are a lot of shitty things people can do, and I could work through them with a partner, with my teammate, like I was saying.
It's hard to forget.
Correct. But I'm a pretty ride or die bitch.
Yeah.
Like other than infidelity, like I'm pretty ride or die. I got your back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I really pour into the people. And when I pour in, like I'm all in. Which leads me to number 2.
Perfect. Let's hear it. She's going all in for number 2.
I don't know if I'm going all in, but I just feel like it's one of those things that, how do I want to say this? I'm going to pick a different one. Never mind.
Never mind.
Um,
She's nervous right now.
I
You
know,
guys are
'cause I
wondering,
didn't
she's
wanna-
twirling her hair. She got her legs crossed.
why are you
on.
giving a play-by-play of what I look like, you fucking creep?
Is that a Taylor Swift friendship bracelet?
No, it's a No Bad Vibes Old Dominion bracelet.
Okay, they're kind of
Can we
trying
start
to.
this over?
Number 2.
All right. So my number 2 is emotional maturity.
Okay, that's
feel
a
like
good one.
Emotional maturity is it's hard to find. That going back to Nashville,
Probably
and
hard to
living
find in Nashville.
in Neverland. And it's just like, again, I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to have it all figured out. But I do feel like I did a lot of self-reflection over the pandemic. And I just felt a little disheartened when we got back out into the world. And I just felt like maybe other people weren't doing the same work, which is kind of bleeding into my number one. The number one thing I look for more than anything else is self-awareness. If you are not self-aware, you cannot be emotionally mature. You cannot be loyal. You cannot be an effective communicator. You cannot be a good teammate. You don't know what you bring to the table. You don't know what you're good at. You don't know what you're bad at. You don't know what you need to work on. All of those things. If you are not self-aware, it's a no for me.
Self-awareness is a big one, just in life. I'm always shocked
Truly.
at some people who don't have self-awareness.
Yeah. Have you ever been to BNA Airport? There's a lot of people with no fucking awareness there.
Nashville Airport, if you go there on a Sunday afternoon, it is literally a graveyard of bachelorette parties.
Yeah, it smells
is
like
just hungover girls laying everywhere.
Yes, it smells like a dumpster. Like people, speaking of sweating hot dogs out, they're like sweating Honky Tonk Central out.
Yeah.
For like 4 days plus the Tennessee heat.
And some hot dogs. Alley dogs, they call them.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah. All right, there you have it. Anybody listening, watching right now, if you know a man with those 5 characteristics, send us their profile.
Don't do that.
And we'll get Samcat back on track here. Get her going again.
I don't know. I feel like I'm at a chill spot. I'm living in the era of let them. If they want to ask you out on a date, let them. If they want to ignore you and not make you a priority, let them.
Do you ask guys out on dates or do you wait?
Yes. So I am very I'm a mixed bag for sure. And I feel like I'm all over the place when it comes to dating. I don't know that I have like any hard set rules like, oh, you have to wait a day to text him or he has to ask you out. Like if I'm feeling it and I'm vibing with you, I'm like, we should grab a drink. Or I would love to get dinner with you. But nothing is sexier than if they ask you out and it's not like, hey, we should hang out sometime. It's like, hey, you want to hang out on Tuesday? There's this new place I really want to try. Are you free at 7? I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving a shit and like just taking it one step further to like put some effort into it.
And just showing some confidence.
Ooh, confidence. Ooh, I should have put that
Yeah,
in my
confidence
top
is a
5.
big one.
You rattled me with like asking me what I was looking for, but
Yeah,
I feel like there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness.
for sure.
But I love a confident man
Yeah.
because I also have been told that I am intimidating and I'm scary and all of those things that I find super unattractive.
Yeah, confidence is huge. I think a lot of guys like confidence and ladies as well. You don't think that, huh? You think guys just want like a cute, shy, not really saying much, and you want to be able to.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously don't want to generalize and stereotype because I hate when guys do that to girls, but I do feel like in my personal experience, I have a very bold personality and it's like take it or leave it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I know right away if a guy's like, this bitch is annoying. Or if they're like, wow, this girl's hot. Like I like that
Yeah.
she just like says it like it is. And I've noticed also that somehow I always end up with like the emotional and the nice guys because they like women that will like not speak for them, but they are not, I don't know, I guess it's like they feel safe. Like I don't want to put words in their mouth, but there's like alpha males that are like, who do you think you are? How dare you have an opinion about this? I'm like, oh, you want an opinion? Give me a sec. I got a few.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I don't know if it's as common as you like a confident woman.
Yeah, for sure.
You like bold women. You like personality. You're not easily intimidated.
Right.
But I don't know that that's very common. I just think that's common for your life.
Yeah, if I was like attracted to a female like in the past and then she's super confident and comes up to me and is just like, let's hang out or let's do this. I'm like, damn, cool. Yeah.
I feel like
I
that's
like
how we
that.
became friends.
Yeah.
I like didn't force you to be my friend, but like kind of did.
Pretty much.
I was like, hey, we're going to be friends. And you were like, okay.
Yeah. I still send you an invoice every month.
I haven't paid it once in 5 years.
Confidence is big. Andrew, do you agree?
Agreed.
All right. There we go. The in-depth response there. We all like confidence. I actually asked on my Instagram today, women, I said, hey, ladies, send me your questions that you would want to maybe not ask a guy, but you want to know from a guy's point of view.
Did you get a lot of responses?
I got a lot of responses. You want to go over these?
I'm kind of scared. You're going to be the voice of men.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm not speaking for all men, but we're going to answer these.
See, that's how I feel. I feel like this whole episode I've been like an imposter. You're asking me to give advice and it's just like,
No, it's great. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to be your therapist right now. I'm trying to get you a man's.
okay.
When was
I feel
the-
like you rattled me from the beginning and it's not my
You're
best work,
thrown
but I'm
off.
just,
You're just thrown off right now.
because you're like, oh, by the way, Samcat wants to marry a man for money. And I'm like, and that makes my skin crawl because I don't want to be that girl.
but
It was a joke.
But
I was just joking that I feel like all the good ones that maybe aren't millionaires are already taken. So I might as well just ride out the first wave of divorces and marry for money.
hey, I asked you this the other day. I said, what if Milkman,
Yeah.
you found out he had about $20 million in the
Okay,
bank and he
also-
was 6'3" and he was
No,
handsome and he
I
looked
was-
like JJ effing Watt. I bet you wouldn't have minded if he ordered a glass of milk then.
Okay, I will challenge you. Yeah, if the vibes were on, but like the milk
What if
was
the vibes were off?
then I would have said no.
Oh, come on.
Sean, I think you're vastly underestimating how comfortable I am being alone. I think you're not giving me enough credit
No.
because here's the thing is that I have
known-
plenty of
my
friends.
whole life I've known you. You've been alone. You've been very comfortable.
Slammed.
I quit.
When was your last relationship?
Like a real one?
Yeah.
2018.
2014.
Fuck off, Booth. I've had plenty of situationships and
Sure.
some that have gone farther than others and some that have just like not even evolved from like I've never even met them in person. Maybe I met them on an app or something. So I've had a wide range, but like a real actual boyfriend,
Yeah.
2018.
Okay. That was a good year. It's a
I'm
good year.
fucking mad at you. So go ahead. Ask me your questions.
Good. All right, here we go. We got Andrew in the building too. He's going to help us out here. First question, who should pay for the first date? I feel like that's easy. A guy, always.
Yeah.
A lot
no matter
of
what.
a lot of people these days, I don't know if it's more guys or girls, but they have changed the ways and they say that whoever asks you out on the date is the one who should
That's
pay.
insane. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that would make it really
I'm not saying that I'm one of
uncomfortable.
those people. I love a chivalrous moment and I do truly, I think that it's like English, Sammy. it is an unpopular opinion these days growing that it shows like weakness. Like, I make my own money. I can pay for my own meal. And it's like, I don't think that that's the point. I think the point is that he's
trying
putting effort
to be a
in.
gentleman.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Like, there's a lot of things that have evolved, obviously, throughout life, but I feel like that is one thing where you should just be the gentleman and still pay no matter
agree.
what. If
I
it goes
agree.
terrible, if it goes great, I can't imagine ever being like, hey, what's your Venmo? Or let's split this.
Oh, it happens.
That's wild.
I also had a guy yell at me once because he spent $100 on our dinner and I didn't go home with him. He's like, I'm going to spend $100. You're not even going to come back with me. I was like, $100? What am I? I'm worth $100?
That's so bold.
Yeah, needless to say, I never talked to him again.
I can't
He
believe
also
that
called his
there's-
mother a whore.
Oh, damn.
First date. I was like, oh my God.
Yikes.
Lovely.
Tough.
Welcome to Nashville.
I can't believe that there's guys like that are that bold to just like expect you to go
yeah.
home with them. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also fell in the category of not liking confidence because
That's just a weird insecurity with them.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
that was a lot of mommy issues. Someone
Yeah.
who calls their
Sa-
mother a whore
I
on
would
the first
say-
date is.
Yeah, I don't know what pointed you to mommy issues, but maybe that whole whore thing was probably a good indicator.
I do have to say though, I met him on Hinge and Hinge was like flawless. It was like the most witty banter I have ever exchanged back and forth. Like, I was throwing shit out. He was responding right away and like funny, not just one word. Yeah.
We talked about it though.
Yeah. And then you get
You
in
can
person and
master
I
the
was like,
text game.
this guy
Well, you
is
get in front of a human
douche.
being and you're just like,
I like turtles.
exactly.
Mhm.
All right. Does body hair really matter? So I'm assuming this is from a woman who wants to know if men think that body hair really matters.
I think that's
I
personal
think
preference.
the short answer of that is yeah, it does.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know. I'm not a dude.
What type of body hair are we talking about here?
I mean, like, what if I had a beard? I feel like you wouldn't be into
I
that.
probably wouldn't be into that. No.
But what if I just had a faint mustache?
Are we
Could you get
talking
over
like
it?
arm hair, armpit hair, like, hair?
What if I had a hairy ass hanging out my bikini?
That'd be tough. I wouldn't be into that.
Yeah, I
Spoiler
mean, I
alert.
think that it's
I
just
think hair
personal preference.
matters.
Okay.
Yeah. For Andrew?
Yeah, I mean,
Andrew's trying not to get in trouble with
I
his
know.
wife at home. He's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love you
Yeah.
all the time.
thick arm hair. I don't know, dude. It does matter. It's like not the norm for a girl to have armpit hair.
Yeah.
So like if we're out on the town and you lift your arm up and you have armpit hair,
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I feel like you're being a little weenie hut junior right now and not being as bold as you could be. And Andrew and I are really putting ourselves out there. And the fact that sometimes things about dating are superficial. When people are like,
I'll agree
"Oh,
with you. 100%.
You want to throw it in my face that if he looks like JJ Watt, the milkman wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, guess what? He didn't look like JJ Watt. Why am I the enemy? Because I think that
nobody. Hey,
You are.
take
You
a breath
are.
over there.
no.
Take a
I'm
breath.
saying that you're saying he is saying he doesn't like thick armpit hair, and it's like, oh. But it's not, oh, that's his preference. He's allowed to think that.
But I know there's a lot of progressive women out there who have armpit hair, and they're like, well, why? How come we have to shave it off?
I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's their preference.
It's their preference. That'd be
What if
tough.
it looked like Chewbacca was in her bathing suit? It's not for you.
That's not for me.
I get it.
Yeah.
I respect it. I feel, so you guys talking about that, I feel the opposite, but the same, but towards men. Let me reword that. And the fact that like, if a man shaves his chest and shaves his legs and shaves his arms,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
yeah, weird.
I like hairy. I mean,
Yeah.
I like hairy men to an extent. Again,
Right.
like if like your head hair connects to your toe hair, yee. You ever seen those guys that like they have face hair, eyebrow, it leads into their beard, which leads into their neck, which
Yeah.
leads into their chest, which leads into their balls, which leads into their legs, which leads into their toes, and you're like, you are literally one carpet of hair.
Yeah.
No.
It's Bigfoot.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
That's I don't want to be like stroking your back and combing hair at the same time.
Okay,
That
but
is
you
no
want
for me.
like a little bit of chest hair is good. That turns you on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because you look like a man.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm attracted to men. If I could list all the things I could be attracted to in the world, I think straight men would be at the bottom of that list.
I shaved all my body hair one time. That's when I did my Iron Man.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't judge you for that. If you continue to do that, I would judge you right here, right now.
including your head.
No, I had a cap that I could put on.
That would've
Sean
Yeah.
would never let his blonde locks go.
been a great.
He would have an
Oh,
identity
wow.
crisis.
I would cry myself to sleep. How often do you creep on your ex's social media?
Oh shit,
That's-
that's a good one.
That's a good question. I personally don't. I'm one of the, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. And I just never.
You never looked
Never.
on any of your exes.
I mean, when I say never, I mean like maybe once or twice tops.
Do you creep on people on the internet in general?
Yeah, I look at profiles for sure, of course. But I'm saying my ex is more like, I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to feel any type of way. So I'm not even going to go there.
Okay,
Even
that's
right.
fair.
Even like exes from like a decade ago.
I've only got one ex from a decade ago.
How many girlfriends have you had?
4.
That was real painful for you, buddy. You good?
I would say like full on committed relationships.
You don't have to squirm so much while we're talking about this, Booth.
Yeah.
I can see you moving. Pretend like he's calling you a Jack Russell again or whatever you were. Great Dane.
Great Dane. I'd say 4. I had one serious relationship in college, after college, for like 7 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was a great relationship. She was fantastic. I was
So there's like no part of you that's like, oh, I would be curious to see if she's married now. She could be married with kids.
Oh, she is married with kids. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, dang, that would be wild.
That's wild. But that was one where I thought I was going to marry her for sure. Like I was like, yeah, I was madly in love with her. She was fantastic. But I was at the point in my life where, Shawn Booth just wanted more. I wanted to go see what's out in the world. And I was in Connecticut, New Hampshire with her. And if I stayed there, I probably, at some point would have asked, got down on one knee, and then moved to Nashville. And
to follow your dreams.
To follow my dreams, yes. But I haven't talked to her. I'm trying to think of when I last spoke with her. We've had like a couple exchanges over the years. I did call her because we were still kind of talking a little bit and like cordial. That was right before I went on the show. So I had to call her and like give her a heads up. I was just like, hey.
People are going to be knocking on your door.
Yeah. And they did. And then one night after I got back from the show, I was engaged and I was just like, my brain was in a pretzel, an absolute pretzel with my feelings, my thoughts, my emotions. And I went out to Broadway and just got hammered drunk, Rip Warren drunk, like honky tonk central Shawn Booth drunk.
Love him.
And went home one night and ended up calling her at like 3 a.m. just to give her a heads up
that you were engaged.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I just want to let you know.
Did you break it off with her?
I don't remember the exact way it
Booth,
ended. No,
did you break it off
I
with
was
her?
probably the leading cause of that relationship ending.
Because you were being an idiot or because you called it quits?
Probably both. What do you mean by being an idiot?
Oh my God. The fact that I have to explain to you what being an idiot means is the reason that I think you were the one being an idiot. Okay, I'm saying like, were you not being affectionate? Were you like distant and you weren't in the relationship and she could feel that? So she's like, what are we doing? Were you talking to other people? Were you like not making her a priority? Or
no,
were
I
you...
wasn't talking to other people, but I was definitely being selfish.
Okay, so that would...
Yeah, I was being an idiot.
Okay, cool.
Probably, yeah.
So then she was like, hey, the writing's on the wall. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm going to Nashville to be a bachelorette. And you were like, see you later.
Yeah, I was basically like, I'm
okay.
But yeah, I don't know how exactly it ended. But it was like a 6 year thing, like kind of on off a little bit. All of a sudden, Samcat's my therapist now.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand how you can be with someone for 7 years and then not know how it ended. To me, that means that you're the reason it ended.
Oh, I will say, yeah, I was the reason why it ended.
So then why are you calling her at 3 o'clock in the morning years later when you're engaged to someone else?
Because I felt absolutely terrible because her life was about to get stressful and people knocking on her door and calling her and her family, which they did. And I was giving her a heads up and kind of apologizing and being like, hey, guess what?
Sorry,
I got engaged because I talked to her before I went on the show.
Sure.
She was upset. We still talked, but we weren't together by any means. And I was like, just a heads up, going on the show, going to be a good time, going to make some friends and travel the world a little bit. I might be home in 48 hours, but I'm definitely not coming home engaged. Well, fast forward, came home engaged, and I was, again, super drunk. I called her and said, yeah, just a heads up.
A courteous call, if you will.
It was, but then that call turned into, she like talked to her family about it. And then her cousins ended up selling that to tabloids. So then I was in an airport with my ex, and it was on the front of Us Weekly.
Oh, wow.
It says Shawn's been calling his ex.
No way.
That was a tough one.
I mean,
Literally
they weren't wrong.
No, they weren't wrong.
Just a little misleading, but
a little misleading. Yeah,
what a weird life you live.
that was weird because I was standing there. I was with my ex, and I looked to the right, and I'm like, "Oh, crap, that's not good."
I feel like that's an easy explanation, though. You're good.
Yeah, but I called her because I felt bad.
Sure.
Yeah, because I didn't want her to get put into any of that dumb chaos that I put myself into. Same with like my family,
Yeah.
close friends. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like I caused this. I am a wrecking ball, and now you guys have to deal with what I have done.
Why didn't you ever call me and say that? I feel like I deal with your shit, your wrecking ball shit every day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that was one of my serious exes.
I'm glad you asked that, Andrew. You put him on the spot. Do you see how much he squirmed?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, I squirmed a lot.
Loved
in that.
it.
I just burned like 1,000 calories.
All right,
in
go
that
to the next question
conversation.
before you cry. My goodness.
Yeah, here we go. Next question. If I gain weight, will my hub still find me attractive? Be honest. That's sad that you even have to ask that. I feel like he should find you attractive no matter what. I know that's a dumb question, but
Yeah.
it's sad that you would have to think that,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm sure he's not Mr. Olympia. He's probably gaining weight. He's probably not as tight as he once was. We're all getting older.
Yeah.
We're all going to get a little sloppier. But if he doesn't find you attractive, then that would not be a good marriage.
No.
When you took your vows and you said,
Yeah.
I will always love you for skinny or for fat, you meant it.
Yeah. I know, but that's like so sad because I feel like I constantly remind myself that the way I look and how much I weigh is like the least interesting thing about me, but it's still very much at the forefront of
Yeah.
my mind all the time.
Right.
And so I feel like that hurts my heart that you would ask that, but I also get it. But I also feel like if you're marrying someone, you're committing your life to them,
Mhm.
that there's so many other things that you love about them other than their looks. Even though, as I was just saying 30 seconds ago, it feels like it's okay to be attracted to someone because of the way they look as well.
Right.
Like that is part of the initial attraction. I just think it grows from there. But if it hasn't grown from there and you're already married to them, there's more red flags than how much you weigh, I feel like.
Yeah. That's a tough one, but
That makes me sad.
yeah. I'd like to know why people don't want to settle down nowadays and have a family.
Who is that?
I could answer that. I feel like times have changed, and I feel like we now live in a world with social media, and there are so many options out there for people.
Too many.
Too many. Where
Just
I think
swipe.
exactly where it's better off like our grandparents, great grandparents. They grew up in a town. They fell in love with Georgina down the road, and they are madly in love, and for the rest of their lives they'll be with each other because that's their first love. And you don't have to go on Instagram every day and be like, oh, what about that person or that person? Or you have so many ways to connect with people, and it just is
Too much.
death by volume.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it. Surprisingly, you finished that sentence well, but I do think there's also so a lot of my friends are married. A lot of them have children. I am a 32-year-old single woman, and outside of Nashville, that's like an anomaly. It's like, oh my God, you're gonna die alone. In Nashville, it's very common. But I do think that there is some sort of misconception or confusion of the definition of settling down does not mean settling.
Right.
There are a lot of people, I have been a victim of this as well, of overthinking a situation like, oh, he's great, but what if I meet someone who's better?
Yes.
What is that? What is that mentality and how did that develop? Is it social media because of all the endless options? I can pick up my phone and connect with thousands of guys if I wanted to, maybe. Or is it me not knowing or having a clear idea of what I'm looking for and I'm just like lying to myself?
Mhm.
I don't know. But I do think that there is a big misconception of settling down does not mean settling. And in some people's eyes or in their hearts or whatever, That's how they feel.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great point. You should put that one on a t-shirt.
Oh,
Settling
okay.
down does not mean settling.
Yeah, they're not the same thing.
Yeah, because I think you think that life. I think there's such negative thoughts and opinions about marriage, mostly from married people who make comments about it or joke about it. Or it's like, gotta go home to the wife tonight, or man, I can't wait to go golfing with the boys, so I don't have to be at home with my shitty kids and terrible wife. Where it's like, why would anybody want to do that?
I don't know, but that also, like you saying that, anytime I'm just like, dang, I should try harder. I should be with someone. I should, whatever, whoever made that up made me think that I need to be doing those things. Then I have a conversation with people who are married and they're like, don't get married.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe I shouldn't be in a rush to do that. Everything will work out the way it's supposed to, blah, 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 blah. But I truly believe, and it's so cliche and I hate that I even believe it, but like the grass is green where you water it. So yeah, you're a married man and you're like, oh, you get to go out to Honky Tonk Central and see all these blonde, beautiful women and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these Jessicas that have all their guy friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, yeah, you know what? And then I go home and there's no one there.
Yeah.
So maybe that would bother someone more so than not being able to go out and meet the Jessicas. I don't know.
Right.
It's personal preference, but I do think that the grass is green where you water it. And I remind myself that all the time because there is again, to like lean into social media, it's a game of comparison.
It is.
Like I said, all of my friends are married and have children or two.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I am so far away from that. But then again, that's not my timeline. And this girl on Instagram, she like does her makeup while she's giving like dating advice.
I feel like I see like so many of those people.
It's like
now.
Cutthroat dating advice. So I like her. She's straight to the point. And one of the things that stuck with me is she's just said like, why are you beating yourself up over the fact that your friends are married when you wouldn't marry any of their husbands?
Ooh, that's a good point.
And I was like, holy shit, she's right.
Do you think you'd be married right now if you were living in Michigan and with kids?
I don't know because I think that when I came to Nashville, I had so many goals and dreams that I wanted to achieve that were not relationship based, and I've done them all. Literally, the only dream that I have left unchecked right now is a partner. And so I don't know if Nashville changed me, quote unquote, in a way for me to be more career, friendship, buying a house, all those things that I had on my to-do list per se. I don't know if Nashville changed that in the mindset or if like I would still be this person had I lived anywhere else and just matured.
Right.
Because I could kind of see it going both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that what you surround yourself with shapes
where
who you
fall
are.
Into.
So I don't know.
Possibly.
I still think I'd be as picky as I am now, but I do think that maybe I would have settled down. I don't know.
Because I think I'm like, if I lived in Windsor Locks, Connecticut right now, would I have been settled down 10 years ago and have a family with kids? And I also think people who grow up in smaller towns and, you know, they meet one person, they're obviously more likely to marry them, but also they might get a little more scared easily if they lose somebody.
Yeah.
And they're like, I am never going to find anybody because pickings are slim. So I'm going to settle down here where, again, death by volume. You go to Nashville and you're like, well, that didn't work out. Let's go to Kid Rocks and go find another Jessica.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a mind warp to think that way because it's kind of like the butterfly effect. If you make one different decision, your entire life changes.
That throws me off. That's crazy to me right there.
Yeah, like what if I never walked into your gym? Who would be your podcast host?
I mean, probably somebody a lot better and cooler.
What are you?
That is the second time you've been.
What are you saying throws you off? Explain the butterfly.
The butterfly effect. So I look at my life and I'm like, I did this, which led me to this, which led me to that, to all this. Like, if I didn't go out this one night, if I didn't go down to Honky Tonk Central on Tuesday nights, then I wouldn't have met this person who then put me in this position in my life. Like one wrong turn, one way. How'd you meet your wife?
The playpen.
I'm good friends with her older brother. So her older brother is my age.
And how long were you friends with him? The playpen?
Year and a half, 2 years.
You were 2 years old.
No.
They were friends
we
for a
were
year and a half.
friends
Okay.
in high school for like a year and a half, 2 years. So probably like freshman, sophomore year of high school, we became friends. And then I started dating his sister.
Okay. And if you never became friends with him,
So,
where
like,
would your life be right now?
That's what I was gonna ask if you guys can pinpoint so like for me on this scenario, the like turning point in my butterfly effect, if I'm understanding this correctly, would be meeting my brother-in-law.
Correct.
Because if I had never met him and become his friend, I wouldn't be married to my wife.
Yeah. You could be single working at Larry Flint's right now,
Yeah.
which is a strip club right up the road. Like you don't know where you would be.
Yeah. So
How'd you
No.
come to Nashville?
A breakup.
That's right.
A breakup. I mean, I moved here. I always knew for some reason that I belonged here, but I didn't really know why. I just knew that I wanted to work in Nashville.
Right.
I felt like the town matched my energy and I would feel at home. And I was correct. I've moved around to a million states when I was a kid. So when people are like, where are you from? It's hard for me to answer. I was born in Virginia. I lived here. My parents, like it's kind of all over the place. Nashville is the first place that I've chosen as an adult that I'm going to build a life and I'm going to live. And I feel like I would have probably moved to Nashville had I stayed with him. It would have just been a completely different life. Like I always knew that I was going to come here. I just did it under a different route than I had originally imagined.
Mhm.
But I think that the old butterfly effect thing is in the back of my head. Like if I really don't want to go out, you know how many times people are like, really didn't want to go out that night. And then I met my wife and blah, blah, blah. Chuck Wicks did not want to go out and he met his wife at a bar on Broadway. And I'm thinking to myself, what? You know how many times I've been to a bar on Broadway? But I get it. I feel like it is just that one time. And like I said at the beginning, every pot has a lid. Mine is just lost in the back of the pantry.
It's crazy how life works out. I think about my buddy, Chris Strandberg. He was on The Bachelorette with me. This is a crazy story. So one night out on Demumbrian Street, and he's Cupcake on the show. He came up to me. This is before we were on the show. This is like 8 or 10 months before filming. He walked up to me in a bar and he had his phone out. He goes, "This is you right here." And it was a guy. It was a side profile. And it was a guy with a beard and a part on the side of his head. And the meme said, "Watch out for this guy because this guy will steal your girl." He showed me that and he looks at me, he goes, "Don't steal my girl." And I was laughing. And then he turned around. Fast forward 10 months later.
You stole his girl.
We were in the mansion of the Bachelorette. And he comes up to me after, I'll never forget this. As soon as I walked through the door, he comes up to me, he goes, "Do you remember me?" I was like, "No." He goes, "You remember I came up to you at that bar? It was for the Block and White party, Mark Block." He's like, "I showed you that meme." I was like, "Oh my God, you did." He ends up kissing Caitlin first. And then Caitlin ended up giving me the rose on the first night. And we were walking back.
Wow.
We were walking back through the hotel. And I go, "Stole your girl." Like, what are the chances of that?
That's a crazy story.
You're talking about,
But I love that.
I mean, what
Those
are
are like
the
my
chances?
favorite situations that happen in life. Like, what are the chances of that happening? Those are fantastic times.
That's got to be less than like winning the lottery to end up
yeah.
in that house meeting. I mean,
Are you sure he didn't know who you were before?
What do you mean?
Like, did he know you were going to be on the show?
No, this was before. This is 10 months before either of us even went into
Okay.
meet with them. Like, this wasn't even a thing in our lives yet. We were
Got
just
it.
down on Demumbrian
Got
having
it.
drinks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that even more then.
Shawn, what did you do before the show?
Yeah. So before the show, I worked for an insurance company. I did loss control. I was a consultant. So I got a job right out of college, went to Michigan for a year. And then from Michigan, I went to Madison, Wisconsin.
That's where you went on the date with the Chicago girl.
That's right. And then back to
Oh.
Connecticut and then to Nashville. So I was working for an insurance company as a loss control consultant. It was like risk management. The best way I describe it is if you've ever seen Along Came Polly
Mm-hmm.
with Ben Stiller.
Oh, God, that was you?
Where they go to businesses and they assess the risk to make sure it's a good account to insure. If not, you're like, they're probably going to mess up and cost our company a bunch of money. It was an awesome job, paid great, company car, and I worked from home. So I've never really like worked in an office 9 to 5. But the bad part about that was being somebody who worked from home right out of college, being moved to Michigan, didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I couldn't meet anybody. Didn't really have an office.
Where in Michigan?
Howell, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is like small little town. And then
I know. I went to Central, also a small town.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And then I found another job here because I wanted to move to Nashville. I came down to Nashville for one weekend with two of my buddies.
Got arrested.
Nope, not that weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, probably should have gotten arrested. We came down here for CMA awards because we wanted to see, we were big country music fans.
Are you still a big country music fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of, but do you feel like since you moved here, it like dimmed a little?
It dimmed.
Yeah.
Being here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then knowing everybody.
Yeah,
and
you
then
kind of
like,
get, not jaded, but like
you
a
get
little
jaded.
less.
100% you get jaded.
I refuse to be jaded. I make
No,
a
'cause
conscious
there's some
effort to
people
not
I won't
be
listen
dated.
to. I'm like, I don't want to listen to that.
Is that jaded?
That's jaded.
Oh, okay.
Because
then I'm
you
jaded.
know, like, you know, they're not just a country singer that you know on the radio. It's somebody you've had personal interactions with now.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I
like,
guess I'm jaded.
You know that he wears a hat during.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was big. I mean, we were big country music fans. So we're like, let's go to this show. We'll go see all of our favorite artists in one
Mhm.
night. And we did that. Yeah. So fell in love with Nashville that weekend, got on the plane, said, I'm going to sell my house and move down there. And I did.
That's pretty much what I did, but different, but same.
Yeah.
Again, came here to chase your dreams. Never, Neverland, baby.
Never, Neverland. Don't even know what my dreams were. I just wanted more. And I think that goes into that
Oh.
question is that
Okay.
people always want more or want what they can't have. So you find yourself in a relationship. You're like, "Oh, I wish I was single. You find yourself single. You're at home by yourself. You're like, I wish I was in a relationship. I think that's a constant battle with a lot of people.
Yeah. Again, the grass is green where you water it.
What's the how long the bare minimum length you would have to date someone before you got married?
That's a good
Years.
question. Years?
I don't think you truly know somebody until at least 2 years.
What if you knew them for years, but you were
that's
only
different.
dating?
Yeah, that's different, of course.
Like you're talking from the second you meet them?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I can't answer
Like,
that
from the
question because I
second you
think it's
start dating.
yeah, no, I think it's situational. I think that's not a one size fits all question.
But like, let's say you meet a guy on Broadway this weekend. He's amazing. He checks all your boxes. You guys date for 6 months, and you're just like in heaven. And after
have to-
6 months, he proposes.
yeah, I don't know. That's I don't think I would say. I don't think I'd be down for that. No,
I think you
Okay.
would. I think you're lying.
Sean, let's say
Sean,
there's-
why do you hate me today?
I think you would.
I don't think
I think
that.
you would. You'd feel the pressure. You're like, oh, I'm getting older. I already know you're feeling a little pressure. We're all getting a little older here. And you find that man in 6 months perfect. You're going to be like, yes,
I don't
sir.
know. Because
Yes, you do know.
No, because
Yes,
I
you do.
think that people can be a different version of themselves.
That's
for 6
why
months.
I need 2 years.
Okay, so why do you get 2 years and I have to be pressured at 6 months, Booth?
Because I think you're going to cave into peer pressure.
I'm freezing my eggs. My God, get me ready for the urn. You're telling me I'm pressured because I'm getting older. I'm good. I'm good. Like I think
Are
that.
you good?
Yes,
Are
I
you
think
good?
that you have to wait. I feel like someone could be a different version of themselves for 6 months.
Yes.
Like I would want to
you
see
need to
it.
go through some shit.
Exactly. I feel like it's like at least a year.
And I'm
At
going to say this
least.
right now. Anybody who gets married without living with their significant other is absolutely crazy.
I agree with that. But I do think that
Did
if
you
I
guys
knew
live together before you got married?
we did not.
he wasn't allowed to, he was still in high school.
That's wild, but it worked out.
Yeah, good for him.
Because-
but he's the exception, not the rule.
That's right. That's what we call him, the exception, Andrew.
Okay. No, I'm talking now because you cut me off
Why
before.
are you holding your hand in the air?
Because I want to say,
Okay.
I think it's crazy, and I'm glad it worked out, but you need at least 2 years to figure out who that person is, and then living with them is a whole different ball game.
Okay, I think 2 years is a stretch. I say 1 year. I think 6 months is too soon. 2 years is too long. If I was dating someone and I felt as though we were compatible and he was everything I needed and he proposed to me a year in, I would definitely say yes. Contrary to whatever you believe about me and whatever timeline you've made up in your head about what I need.
What about 9 months?
Here's the thing. Do I know him? If I was like friends, if I was friends with
Sure.
Sean for 5 years and then we started dating next week, yeah, I'd probably get engaged to him in 6 months
Sure.
because I've known him. You know what I mean? You are disgusting. Why do you flex?
I don't know. Just
What
'cause I
is
know it
that?
pisses
You look like a
off.
kid.
Yeah.
Like a kid that's like, oh, I'm a big boy, went poo poo in the potty. That is what you look like. We are getting so far off.
I appreciate it. No, that's good to know. That's all interesting stuff.
I
there.
think it's different to be friends first than if you just
But
date someone.
absolutely. But everybody who falls in love in the beginning, it is just like beautiful and the best. And it's just like, it's also not real.
I'm
Right?
sorry.
'Cause
Is
it
this thing on?
fades.
Did I not just say that? Someone can be a version of themselves for 6 months. Why am I here today? You came out hot accusing me. Now you're preparing me for geriatric health, apparently.
Wait, Andrew. So when you moved in with your wife, you were married, went to the wedding, honeymoon, and then you just like
Moved
joined in the
here.
house together.
Yeah, we lived.
Were you
we got-
nervous at all? Remember, this is the open and honest
not
podcast.
really. I was just like,
No, because he knew she was the one.
yeah, we
Yeah.
had been dating for a while. We did like some long distance when I was living in California. She was still in high school in Michigan.
Yeah.
And then we got married in 2020. And the next day moved here and moved into our apartment. And that was it.
Man,
I respect it.
I do too. I'm
I
jealous.
appreciate people
It's
who know
just-
what they want and they get it.
Yeah.
I respect it. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. And I think that his is obviously like an extreme. I said he's the exception to the rule, but I also think that people who don't have that, that doesn't mean that there's anything like wrong with you. Like,
no.
okay, for instance, when we did the milk thing and everybody was like, I can't believe you didn't say yes to him on a date because he didn't, whatever, those comments. The milk wasn't
The issue.
the issue. Like it was this, yeah, the cherry on top. But the women in the comments that were like, you're going to be single for a long time, as if it's a bad thing. First of all, being single is not a bad thing.
No.
Why is that being weaponized? I don't appreciate that.
No.
I have a lit life, but that doesn't mean that I'm less because I don't have a husband. And this woman who's writing mean comments on the internet to a
Probably
stranger.
wishes she was single.
But what I'm saying is that like the irony here is not
course.
lost on me.
Yeah.
You're going to sit here and tell me that I'm unbearable to be with, but you're commenting to a stranger on the
Exactly.
internet?
Yeah, and you got to understand that. You got to realize that. Most of those people are commenting out of a place of hurt or whatever it is.
Sure, but I feel bad for a girl who is reading that comment who is also single and maybe doesn't feel as confident in it as I do. And then they're reading that and they're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
of course I'm a loser. I'm single.
Well,
And
that's
it's like, that's
also-
not the narrative. That's terrible.
What exactly? But in our society, everybody's like, gotta go to college, gotta get a job, gotta get married, gotta have kids. And if you don't do that for some reason, something's
gonna be so
wrong with
lonely.
you. It's like
Mhm.
everybody's always like, oh man, like people will be like, he seems like such a good guy. I can't believe he's not married or this. I'm like, don't worry.
Don't even get me
Don't
started on
worry.
why are you single?
Yeah,
oh
I
my
hate
God.
that. It's like, why are you single? It's like, oh, maybe
From like a
because I wanted to be.
65-year-old woman. Why are
Yeah,
you single?
Because their outlook in life's a little bit different.
Totally. I don't want it to ever come across to someone that it's like a weak point or something.
Exactly. It's not weak.
It's not.
No. You've been single for a long time and I've known you and you've been very strong.
Don't try and suck up to me now, Booth. You've already made your bed. You can sleep in it.
Here we go. Is sex that important for a healthy relationship? I'm going to answer this one right here. That is 100% a fact. Yes, it is. I think sex is a very crucial part to any. Well, I can't say any because some people aren't sexual. But for me, I want to be in a very sexual relationship. I'm a sexual person. And I would never want to be in a relationship where the sex declines as you get further into your relationship.
I think that the only difference between being platonic best friends and being a partner with your best friend is sex. Like, what is that? Is there anything else that's different? I feel like you can have like an intimate friendship or an intimate whatever, but like the difference is you don't sleep with your friends. To kind of contradict myself here, though, there is also like a time and a place. I feel like if your partner doesn't respect when is an appropriate time for having like a sex forward relationship,
Yeah.
that's also a red flag. Because yes, although sex is important and like you're saying, you want to be in a sexual relationship with someone, sometimes life throws you shit and
Oh,
it's
of
like
course.
not
You're
the
not
thing.
going to always want to have sex, but you should be in a healthy sexual relationship if that's what you want. Or if, so say you and your partner have a ton of great sex and then all of a sudden you get married, and it's like, they don't have sex anymore. Or you got like, I always hear it, and that's also like a social norm. You'll see like a sitcom or girls on TV being like, oh, Jim wanted to have sex with me last night, but haha, I pretend I had a headache.
I had a headache.
And I'm like, well, guess what? I guarantee you, Jim is probably slowly dying inside. And he's probably getting really good at figuring out how to erase his browser of Pornhub.com.
You really think 100%?
Yeah, not 100%. No, I don't know anything 100%. But I'm saying that you shouldn't go into a relationship having a ton of sex and then just be like, oh, now we're married. I'm never going to give it up to Jim again. Neither should Jim give it up to Jessica.
I've heard a variation of that, but I'm not going to say it.
No, you're going to say it. We're open and honest here.
No, my dad listens to this podcast. I can't be talking about it. I feel like I agree with you. Yes. I think that there shouldn't be any sort of like whatever the baseline is, it should kind of like stay the same, shouldn't it?
Yeah. And I understand you get older, you get tired, you have kids, that obviously throws everything off, but you shouldn't just give up on something that was so good and maybe something that was like one of the reasons why you got married. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't agree with me on that?
I do agree with you. I do think, I mean, I was like, the difference between friendship and a partner, I think, is sex. So I think that it's obviously a very important part of a relationship.
Yeah. And we're all just animals who need sex.
Oh, I have so many thoughts.
Right? Well, let's hear them.
Thoughts. No, I just.
You think I'm crazy? You're giving me looks over here like whatever I'm saying is crazy.
I do not think what you're saying is crazy. I do love watching you talk about uncomfortable topics because you squirm.
I'm trying.
It makes me giggle.
Yeah.
But I do think that you were correct. I agree. Do you want to know what sex is more so than like if you want to just diminish it down to like, oh, we're animals and we need it? Sure, we get that. But I also think that is like a very empowering feeling that like if you want me, that's like an empowering feeling. I feel like that's a very intimate connection to have with your partner is that it's not just sex.
Correct.
So that I feel like is like I guess where I was maybe not agreeing with you 100% is that like it doesn't always have to be animalistic. I feel like the part that separates that with a partner is that it isn't just sex.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Literally and physically.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Dad.
I'm going to tell my dad not to listen to this episode.
Yeah, give him a heads up. Yeah, I think sex very important to help the relationship.
Also, yes,
that was a long answer short.
Yes.
Not short, but very
One last
long.
thing and then we can move on.
Okay.
Is that I do not appreciate when people use sex against their partner.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, of course.
Oh,
not.
I had a headache, like you said that example, but it's just also like, oh, well, he didn't take the trash out, so I'm not going to have sex with him.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
stupid.
horrendous.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All those jokes
But some of them are true. Like they're joking about it, but they're actually not giving it up.
But I hear from people who are just like, yeah, I haven't had sex with my wife or significant other in like, I don't know, a month or two.
Is a month or two too long?
Yeah, a month or two is way too long.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not married.
But everybody's different. That's something I would look for in my top 5. If we're talking about our top 5.
How many times are you going to dick me down? Like, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Like, what do we think the average amount of sex is a person per year? What do you think, Samcat? The average amount of sex.
Of a married person?
Nope, just an individual.
50 times.
Yeah, that's about right. It's right around there. I think
Is it really?
52 or something.
So once a week.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a lit second half of the year. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Thank you for picking up on my
Yeah,
joke,
yeah.
Booth. The amount of girls / my friends that know, they're like, oh, I got a ring. I'll never blow him again.
I know. That's the same
That
thing.
is the one that I hear more so than like putting out just having sex with your husband is one thing. But the amount of women are like, no, I got a ring. I'm never going to blow him again.
Yeah.
I was like, well, the
Yeah.
nanny will. Got this ring. Never going to do it again. I'm like, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Moving on. So we don't have to talk about more sex in front of Samcat's dad. Sorry, Mr. Cat.
Sorry, Mr. Cat.
Last question. What is the most attractive part of a female? Now, are we talking physical, emotional?
Let's do both. Let's do all 3. Let's go physical,
Okay.
mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, all of the shoals.
Sammy, predict what Sean's gonna say.
Yeah, you predict.
Okay, physical, ass. Sean's an ass man. Emotional, I'd say confidence, bold personality. Is that emotional though, or is that like personality? Two.
You tell me. Is that,
I feel like that's more of like characteristic. Emotional, I feel like you got to be with a woman that's going to kind of pull it out of you. But I feel like that's also kind of confidence. So maybe I am.
yeah, I
right.
love confidence. I'll do another one. I already said I love confidence, but I'll throw in another one in there.
And then what was the other one? Emotional?
Intellectual.
Oh, intellectual. I feel like you just, I don't know what that really would entail for you.
Yeah.
I feel like we have deep conversations. So I feel like you do like deep conversations. But I don't know that that is something that you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that question. I want to pull myself out of the intellectual running.
Okay. So personality wise.
Personality is bold.
Which is what's most important here.
Yeah, you ever walk into a bar, you're like, wow, you see that girl's personality?
Yeah, that
I
girl
want
looks
to
like
meet
she's
her.
got a good personality.
She looks like she can squat a good personality.
Yeah.
That ass though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Did I nail it or no?
Yeah, you pretty much got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So what is your intellectual then? Answered what I fumbled.
Support is a big one. Somebody who's supportive.
I feel like that's what I was trying to get at when I was saying like pull it out of you.
Yeah. Love support, right? It's like.
I think that you, but also everyone, myself included, is just looking for someone that you can be all of the versions of yourself with.
Exactly.
Whether
you
it's
wanna
ugly
be
or it's
yourself
great. Yeah.
with whoever you're with.
Like a fully, again, you can't do that in 6 months. I will stand by that. But
right.
I do think that everybody just like yearns for someone to fully accept them, whether I'm good, bad, and different, whether my hair is wild or I'm in a bad mood or I'm in a great mood and not letting you sleep with a nanny, you know? It's like just really depends on, I guess, what you're bringing to the table.
Correct. Yeah. And physical, I would say probably like nice looking kneecaps or something.
You don't like saggy knees?
No.
I thought better of you, Booth.
Yeah, I'd have to go.
What's the weirdest thing that you're attracted to physically to a woman or from a woman? You're like, wow, I really like her shoulder blades.
I don't know how deep I want to go here.
I want you to go.
Yeah, how deep, Samcat? Jesus.
I went deep. You can go. This is an open and honest podcast, Booth.
What I like is like the fold of the ass, like
this hip.
Yeah.
Those are called handlebars.
No, not but
those
the
are
specific like fold right there. That means
that means it's real.
I don't know if it means it's real or it's fake. It does mean
it's real.
But I'm saying like the line, the fold right there.
On the thigh or the hip?
No, right in between. Like you got the ass and then boom.
Can you show me on the doll?
Like
what is? I don't understand what you're saying. Are you talking about if you sit? That's a hip. That's a hip. That's your hip.
Sit.
That's a hip, Sean.
But it's an ass. But I'm talking about the fold right there.
Those are your hips.
Then I'm a big hip guy.
Jesus, you don't even know what you're attracted to. That's a hip.
No,
this is a hip. This is an ass. That's a handlebar.
A handlebar.
That's something for you to hang on to.
There we go. Gotta hold on tight.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyways, your top 3 characteristics. You said smile first.
Love a good smile. That's the first thing I notice about anyone, whether it's like sexual attraction or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Smile.
Yeah.
What else am I attracted to? Weird or like normal?
Weird.
Forearms.
Really?
Forearms and hands.
Gotcha.
I just feel like you can tell a lot about someone like by their hands. Like if a man has better manicured hands than I do, I'm kind of like, okay.
I mean, what about my hands?
You need some Osea body balm. Like you're always dry AF. Like look at your hand right now.
I came out of the womb with dry skin.
Look at your knuckles.
Yeah, I got.
Do I want to hold that? Do I want that to be
rough hands?
If you played with my hair right now, your callus would get stuck in my hair. That's 100%. Not cute, Booth.
Okay, well, it's not manicured hands.
No, but I mean, you could use some moisturizer.
I moisturize every single day.
Okay. Anyways, and then what else is weird? I don't know. I feel like I fucked this whole thing up. Because I don't know. Well, you're like asking me top 3s. I didn't brainstorm.
You're the one who asked me about something
All
weird.
I said was, what's one weird thing you're attracted to? And
yeah,
you
I
couldn't
guess
figure out
apparently
the word
hips.
to hip. I don't think that's weird. I think that's very common.
It's the meat on the hip.
Yes, but I think that's why girls pose the way they do on the internet.
Yeah.
Because they know that men like you are like, wow, look at that. I'd like to take a bite of
Yeah.
that. Anyways, yeah, so I like forearms and hands.
All right, there we go, folks. You heard it. Samcat looking for somebody who's got nice forearms.
Do you want to know?
hands.
It's not weird. It's not weird. I take it back. I feel like this is very primal, the same way that your hip attraction is.
Yeah,
I take this back. Is these.
the V show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you're on Percy Priest or you're on a lake
Yeah.
and a guy's getting out of a boat
You
and
got-
then it's just like a little bit, but like their abs are contracting because they're obviously pushing themselves up. I would like to carry your child.
You heard it. If you know a guy who's got the V show, some nice forearms, some rough hands, who's got a nice smile, who's 6'6", 285 pounds, who's played football, who's confident, who doesn't like milk, send us their information. We're going to hook them up with Samcat, ladies and gentlemen.
You could not be selling me worse.
And he's got to have a lot of money. We'll see you next week.
Don't say that. Booth.